sit down.
You're listening to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast, a proud part of the Section 328 family. Follow us on Twitter at CheatersInVRPin. Now, live from ringside, it's Mr. Workrate and JC. Well, welcome back, everybody. It's time, once again, for everybody to push play on the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. How was that?
That was wonderful. I feel like rolling a fatty for you, Pimp Daddy.
For this podcast, Daddy?
Sure.
Then you gotta light that blunt up and say, podcasting ain't easy, man. Welcome to the Cheaters Never Pin podcast. As always, I'm JC. Here next to me at the commentary booth. We actually have 6 of us tonight. Because, Survivor Series.
But we're all wearing different colored t-shirts.
Right. JK, there's just 2 of us. It's me and my good friend, Mr. Workrate, Tom.
Yeah, I'm still working on taking 2 separate t-shirts and merging them into one. A kind of Frankenstein-like split down the middle Bullet Club and, I don't know, maybe my Revival shirt.
I was going to say, you take the Shut Up Tom t-shirt that's available on Amazon. And then you take the other half of the Cheaters Never Pin shirt that doesn't exist and stitch those two together so you're representing your personal brand and the whole brand. That's the key, Tom.
What we could really do is we take the Shut Up Tom t-shirt, cut it in half, and then the other half is the Great Scott t-shirt.
Ooh, okay.
To reference my younger, more successful twin brother, Scott Darling.
Right? Oh,
Which,
well.
As we record this now, Scott Darling, goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes, for those of you who are listening to the podcast and not hockey inclined, is doing a Canes Corner interview little segment locally, doing Q&A with Mike Mascalco, and Scott Darling, again, looks eerily like me if I didn't have gray in my beard.
See, I've never seen it,
a little more ginger.
I've never seen it.
Oh, there are certain pictures that, and there was a picture that came on Twitter today, this evening actually, of him posing with one of the people that I follow, and yeah.
I still don't see it. Sees I'm looking at that picture right now, and I don't see it.
My wife looks at me a lot more than you do, so she sees it.
We actually have a fun show to talk about because we got 2 good shows to talk about.
We do.
We got War Games and Survivor Series and your pin mail. 3 weeks in a row we've gotten pin mail, Tom. Woo-hoo!
This is exciting.
I mean, it's the same 4 people every time, but thank you. I appreciate it.
I don't care. It's if those 4 people care enough to send us pin mail, then,
that's
bully
fine.
to them.
We're here to service 1 person or 100.
Yeah. And I'm just going to let that slide and just ignore it and say that those 4 people turn around and they send in their stuff, and I figure if they're good questions, then great, that's quality hashtag content.
Yes.
And if they're crap questions, well, maybe that'll inspire other people who listen to this podcast to go, you know what? Those questions are crap, and it's the same 4 people every day, every time. Maybe I should send in my pin mail question. Because a lot of times people ask for questions, and I want to participate, but I personally can't think of a question off the top of my head. But if I had to listen to horrible questions all the time, I would be inspired to make up a question.
Yeah, you don't have to send questions. Just send your thoughts.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anytime you think of anything wrestling related, use hashtag pinmail. Send it right on in.
Ask us something, not necessarily a question related to something that's going on currently, but, something to kind of pique our interest in, reference something, favorite this or that, or, that type of thing.
Yeah. So I guess we should just get started because we got a lot to talk about. So this show, I'm sure you've already noticed once you hit play that this show is probably a little bit longer than it usually is. But, you know, that happens on a Big 4 weekend. And we got a lot of those coming up here. So
yeah,
strap in, kids. And we're also recording this show Tuesday night due to Thanksgiving here in the U.S. So one, happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. Happy Starrcade weekend.
Because, you know, this is an excellent opportunity to listen to this as you're shoving breadcrumbs up a turkey orifice.
Most of you probably fall asleep listening to us anyway, so when you're in that tryptophan coma, delight your family with the musings of Tom and myself. If you're listening in the car on the way to Grandma's right now, hit pause, and as soon as you get in, hit play. So I'm going to count you down when hit pause. And then when you're ready to sit down and take the after-dinner nap, you're going to hit play again, all right? So in 3, 2, 1, pause.
Why are we
we're back.
Literally pausing ourselves?
Because I was just going to yell fuck real loud, so that way when you get in and you hit play in Grandma's house, you just hear fuck. And it's hilarious. I was trying to troll the people, Tom.
Yeah, you really should have, given me the heads up on that.
Tom, do we plan anything about this podcast anymore?
No,
it takes the fun out of it.
It does. This is literally the potluck of podcasts.
Ooh, just like Thanksgiving. There we go. Full circle.
Yeah.
So let's start off with Saturday night. Let's start off with NXT Takeover War Games. Show of the weekend because it was the NXT show.
Of course.
Top to bottom. Yeah. It was not that. And Survivor Series gave him a good run this time, for sure. This is maybe the closest it's ever been between the two.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got...
I'll allow it.
Yeah. So I won't spoil the two matches they taped for NXT Wednesday night. Oh, I guess you're hearing this on Thanksgiving, so it doesn't really matter. So on NXT last night, you saw... in the dark matches from TakeOver, Ruby Riott beat Sonya Deville, and Pete Dunne retained the UK Championship against Johnny Gargano. Boy, those were great matches, weren't they, Tom?
Oh, those are excellent matches.
And classics.
Why are you talking about WWE women's competitors like that? And I thought you were talking about NXT.
Oh, we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll weave that in.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. And then on the main pay-per-view, we started off with Lars Sullivan defeating Cassius Ohno via the freak accident in 5 minutes and 11 seconds. This match was perfect because it was two big-ass guys going full speed for 5 minutes, beating the shit out of each other. It was the perfect length because it was the same length it was nearly the same length, I think, as Goldberg Lesnar was from Mania, which is the right length for this kind of match.
Yeah.
Ohno, of course, went under, which we assumed would be what would happen because they're building Lars for something. We'll see what.
The thing, and again, you go 5'11" on this match. I was listening, I guess, to trying to catch up on my podcast and listening to the why can't I think of his name right now? The Pritchard podcast. And they were talking about Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. And they go through, like, the Attitude Era, like, these matches on pay-per-views, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 3 minutes. Like,
yeah,
I forgot how short matches used to be on pay-per-view. They'd stick all these. The Attitude Era was very strong on nobody wants to watch 15-minute match unless it's the main event.
Yep.
So now I've gotten used to the fact that every match is pretty much guaranteed at least 12 minutes. So when you have a match like this one where you just have just the two bulls going against each other, you can't put a 20-minute match out of that. So
right. But it was very well done. I wish they'd just do something better with Cassius Ohno. I mean, it's just not. I mean, it needs to be right place, right time. And I don't know what that is, but they'll get there. Maybe if you'd wear less Duke gear and stop pissing me off with that.
I think the thing with Ohno too is that they almost felt I don't know, part of me thinks that they signed him pretty much to keep him out of Ring of Honor and things like that. And they know the man can work.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, they've brought him in basically to put over other people at the NXT level because he's a hell of a worker. They know that they're going to be able to get matches out of him, but they're not going to build anything around him.
That's fair.
Because there's no future for him on the main roster.
Maybe. We'll see.
I can't see Vince wanting him on the main roster.
See, you say that, but then people had the same thought about Kevin Owens.
Yeah, but Owens is different in the sense that, like, Owens has more charisma, I think, than Ono does, at least in this iteration.
That's fair.
And Owens is just a special heel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because I don't think that if Owens had that kind of mic work that he does, the ability that he does, and I mean, both on the mic and, I mean, the way he wrestles as well, just conveys his heel personality and the interaction with the fans, the interaction with his opponent, that type of thing. But if he didn't necessarily have that, if it was purely on working, and he's a hell of a worker, he would still be in NXT or just kind of, I mean, look how long it took to get Joe to the main roster.
True. Very true. Second match of the night in what I think was the match of the night. At least that's what I put in my fan council survey that I got. Aleister Black defeated the Velveteen Dream in 14 minutes and 37 seconds. This match was so well constructed. It told the story that they were doing anyway was so simple and perfect that Velveteen just wants Aleister to show him what he thinks is respect and say his name. And the entire match is the story of that.
Yeah.
Like, you've got Velveteen doing this weird cross of like the Rick Rude, I'm gonna paint faces on my tights gimmick, plus the gold dust kind of sexuality, plus and it works, and the overarching kind of Prince thing behind it. He is now hella over after this match because the entire crowd was chanting for him the whole time. And then you've got Aleister Black, who everyone loves anyway, is hella over, like, and is just an ass kicker. And they just put on a beautiful match that told the story, and it ended with the babyface going over and then showing the respect to Velveteen by saying his name at the end. It was so well done. And these two guys beat the shit out of each other.
And yeah, I mean, it's storytelling that tends to get forgotten a lot because you have matches that, you know, are great spot matches or just, you know, just great, like, drawn out matches, but they don't necessarily tell a story all the time. And I had gotten asked on Twitter, I guess, in one of those top 5 things, what my top 5 matches were, and I'm not going to pull that up right now. But all of not in my top 5 were any of the Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat trio of matches from, I guess it's 89, which are like 5-star great matches in general. And I was asked, okay, well, why don't you have those? I go, because the 5 matches that I did pick, in watching those matches, I got more into the story. They told the story better. The Flair Steamboat matches were just pretty much a case of, okay, I want to beat you because you have the title, and that's what it is. And they're great matches on their own. But other matches use the promos beforehand and tell the story in the ring without the commentators having to tell you, oh, he's mad because of this. Oh, he's doing this. You know why he's doing it. Nothing has to be told. You're just watching it, and the action's telling the story. And yeah, I mean, when two guys can get together and do that, it's rare, but it's great to watch when it actually happens.
Yeah. In what I think was the weakest match of the night, Ember Moon became the new NXT Women's Champion, defeating Kairi Sane, Nikki Cross, and Peyton Royce in the Fatal 4-Way. In all of 9 minutes and 52 seconds. The match was kind of sloppy, especially in like huge spots, especially the finish. They were standing there waiting for Ember Moon and staring at her. Something just fell off about it the whole time. I don't know what. And then I think I talked about this last week, but the choice of picking Ember Moon to be the champion, I think it's not the right time. Ember Moon is great, but she needed to be kind of rebuilt as a character a little bit before we got to this point, because the whole story of, she'd always lost the big one, but then she kind of wins a Fatal 4-Way and Asuka comes out and gives her the belt, basically be like, oh, I know you never beat me, but here you go anyway, you have fun with this, kid. Like, it just felt very patronizing to the character.
Yeah.
And, if you put that belt on Nikki or Peyton, like, okay, there's a chase involved now. She can build up and become strong again.
Right.
Because even in a Fatal 4-Way, like, she doesn't have to get pinned. She doesn't have to lose the big one. So that's what I figured when they made this match this way. I was like, all right, well, Ember's not going to get the title, but she's not going to be made to look weak.
Right.
Peyton's going to screw her or something. So this match didn't really do anything for me. And like I said, then the post-match just kind of ruined it even further for me.
Yeah, I kind of saw like one of those screw job type finishes where Ember hits the Eclipse or whatever the hell it's called. And then, like, say, Peyton Royce comes in totally last minute and, like, slides in and, like, kicks Ember out and then takes the pin basically away.
Right.
Or something along those lines. But 4-way matches and things like that are a bitch to book. I mean, because, like you said, you run into a lot of situations where you have people watching spots.
Mm-hmm.
Because one person's hitting the spot on one person, the other two have to kind of go, oh, well, I must be hurt and outside of the ring, or, just trying to make it seem like they shouldn't be involved for whatever reason. And it's difficult to book that type of stuff. And if you're not experienced with it, you can get a lot of standing around and awkwardness, and it seems like that's what happened here, so.
Yep. So live in-game update from SmackDown Live, as was promised on Twitter. The women's title match has now been interrupted by the NXT invasion of Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan, who showed up earlier and attacked the women backstage. So there's your live in-game update.
Yeah.
They are murdering Natalya.
Great,
Tom, are you being eaten by robots right now?
No, I'm realizing now that I'm slightly behind. It's what happens when you cut the cord.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. I'm not lying. We started before we actually went online. We were talking about, we'll flip on SmackDown. We'll talk about some stuff that's live, and I go, oh yeah, the Hype Bros are on right now, and JC's like, yeah, I think you're a little behind. And I realized I was like 15 minutes behind. Like, oh, yeah, maybe I should catch up.
Yeah, anyway, we'll be back with further live in-game updates later on.
Oh, there they are. I see them now.
Oh, is Charlotte going to kill all of them? No, okay. All right, this is fun for the listener. Then in the NXT Championship match Saturday night at War Games, Adrian Cien Almas, with the help of his new manager, Zelina Vega, defeated Drew McIntyre to capture the NXT title for the first time.
My one thing before I want to get into this, and this is totally a New York thing, every time I hear Zelina Vega, I think of Yolanda Vega, who was, God, I can't remember what channel it was. I think it was Channel 11. They would have the live lotto drawings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, like, for whatever reason, like, this woman would go, announce the balls as they get drawn. And her name was Yolanda Vega. But she would never say, "Oh, my name's Yolanda Vega." It'd be like, "Yolanda Vega!" So, that's just what I think of.
All right. Cool story.
Sorry.
Yeah. This was a really good match. Almost is finally over. Which is nice.
That was the slowest build ever, I think.
Well, I mean, they fucked him with the weird gimmick at first, and then they turned him heel, and he was getting better, it didn't click, and then they put Zelina with him, and it just is clicking on every cylinder now. That's what he needed. He needed someone to get the heat. He needed a heater.
Yeah,
and that works perfect.
I think what's actually kind of nice about the fact that when they took the mask off of him initially, when they brought him in, I always hate the concept of, we're taking the mask off of this great masked wrestler. But he doesn't need the mask. He's actually a good looking guy. And I don't know how well he would have ever gotten over with the mask on. So.
Yeah, I don't think he would have.
Yeah.
So.
And it's kind of cool. I mean, we both assumed McIntyre was going over, and as it turns out, good thing he didn't. But yeah, this kind of came out of nowhere, and it's nice to have something like this come out, because for the past 3 years now or so, like, the NXT title has been predictable. It's basically
pretty much.
It's basically gone to the main person. You knew who the main person was with the company for the most part as it went along. I mean, you found the occasional person didn't go to, but I mean, like, it goes back to, let's see. Well, McIntyre took it from who? McIntyre took it from
Bobby Roode.
Yeah. Roode took it from Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
Nakamura took it from Joe, and then they kind of went back and forth with it a little bit.
Joe got it off Finn.
Joe took it off Finn. Finn took it off Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Owens took it from Zayn. I mean,
yeah,
those were all pretty much kind of clear number ones with the company. Almost is like the first one in a while. I mean, I guess you could kind of question McIntyre, whether he was really and I guess that's where it's coming from too now, is like McIntyre. But I mean, McIntyre had the name recognition. You knew who he was. He's the former WWE guy who made, a huge name for himself back in the independent scene.
Well, and you get to tell that redemption story with him that way. Of, he came into WWE and had these high hopes and high aspirations, and Vince said he's going to be the next guy publicly, and then none of that happens, so he leaves and comes back to be the top guy in NXT.
Yeah.
But I guess it's oddly fortunate that they booked Almas to go over anyway, since Drew gets hurt on the last move of the match.
Yeah, have we heard MRI results or anything?
No, I haven't heard anything today. But in case you missed it, Drew McIntyre, when Almas was going for, I can't even remember. So much has happened since then. I think some form of DDT right near the ropes. McIntyre was kind of leaning on the ropes, kind of kept his left hand on the ropes too long. So when the impact hit, the belief is a torn bicep. That was the kind of initial rumor. That was confirmed by Triple H after the show, but awaiting MRI results to see the extent of the injury. So, well wishes to Drew, because that sucks. But, I mean, at least, if it has to happen, at least the belt's off of him already. That is a fortunate thing for the booking strategy here.
Yeah, they don't need to have another Asuka situation where, he wins the title and then the next week he has to hand it over and they do another tournament or number one contender type thing or whatever.
Right. We didn't need to have this belt vacant to the Rumble.
Yeah.
And then in the main event, it is the War Games match where the Undisputed Era defeated the Authors of Pain with Roderick Strong and Sanity.
Did you do the finger quotes when you said War Games?
No, because it was fucking War Games, man.
I don't think you're
it.
familiar with.
Because
you can love it,
so,
and it's not War Games.
No, but it goes back to everything. Triple H was saying on the media call Wednesday that War Games had issues as a match type with basically, and I'm pretty sure he was alluding to like the pacing of it and everything. That's not something that would fly in professional wrestling in 2017. And they had the right opportunity with the right story to be able to modify it too to fit this 3-team format they wanted to do. And then, taking the roof off the top of the cage. Well, like what Triple H said on the call, how many times did you see Arn Anderson doing moonsaults off the top of a cage in the 80s? You didn't. So.
Oh, but I've got a great mental picture now.
It's pretty funny. But,
yeah.
The modifications that were made, we were both leery about it, I would say. You were more cautious on it than I was.
Because I'm old and bitter.
Yeah, all right. Fucking Cornette. Brett. How many more
God
people can I list? But I think to take this match and try to make it more modern to fit the style that fans want to see today, because if this would have been the traditional War Games one, the crowd would have been bored out of their fucking mind, dude. So this worked. It worked really well. And then you get to the end, and we're like, all right, we're going to throw all the weapons into the cage, too. It was freaking brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And it's funny if all you had to do was not call it War Games. But I guess you kind of have to, yeah.
I don't think you can get away with a match that is two rings side by side and it not be War Games. I think that's so ingrained in the history of American professional wrestling that you can't say two rings with a cage around it and it not be War Games. And then if you don't call it War Games and you call it something else, it looks like you're just trying to rip it off.
Yeah. And I guess too, it's like, since you're not doing blood, I mean, and that was one of the appeals of War Games, is you knew there was going to be blood.
Oh boy, there was this time unintentionally.
But yeah, but I mean, like, everybody gets a gig pretty much in War Games within the first 3 minutes that you're into the cage.
Yeah. Dusty walks in, just bangs his head on it. It's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, different day and age for that.
But I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you're not gonna have the gigging in it, so you have to do it a different way. And I get it. It's done a different way.
You're not going to gig at it, so Alexander Wolf needs to German suplex one of the Authors of Pain onto a table and cut the entire back of his head open so they don't show that ring the entire rest of the match. And when you do see it, there is a puddle of blood on this table. Oh, God. And then you finally see the back of his head as he's like, you're like, nope. That's not gonna be fun in the morning. But yeah, this match was great. Killian Dane, I think, stood out the most in this match. One, playing along with the crazy kind of when he's getting all the toys out from under the ring, and then the crowd starts chanting, "We want tables," and he stops and goes, oh, "Okay," and then grabs some tables and throws them in. And then you have the spot where he delivers the Michinoku driver, I think, using Adam Cole on top of Bobby Fish, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Which was eloquently described on Reddit. Let me pull it up what the title of this GIF was, because it's the most accurate description of it. Killian Dane beating a motherfucker with another motherfucker while beating the first motherfucker. That's pretty much what that move was.
Yeah.
But it was brutal and it was fun, and the back end of that match, the match beyond part, could have stood to be a little shorter. I think it kind of drug on a little bit at first, especially. But this is the first time they're doing this. This is a learning experience for WWE.
Yeah.
There were issues with camera angles and things, but I mean that's stuff that now they've got. Okay, we've done it now. We know how to kind of tighten things up. So.
And that they'll do it once a year, and I'm good with them doing it once a year.
It's basically been said this will be NXT's kind of signature match. And I also heard, I believe it was Meltzer talking about the idea as that this will be the Saturday before Survivor Series every year. Because it kind of War Games kind of ties into the Survivor Series theme of the weekend.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, this is basically like, I don't want to compare it to Elimination Chamber, but I mean, just the point of, okay, we're going to have one event each year that is based around this particular gimmick.
Yep.
But
I still hate them doing that. Even in NXT, like, use the gimmick when necessary. Don't book to the gimmick. I hate it, and I hate it in WWE. Like, oh look, it's October. Cool, Hell in a Cell's coming. So, all right, cool. We know that title feud's gonna be in there, and whatever the other top feud is.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I mean, I get it, but at the same time, fuck it. It's wrestling.
Yeah. And I realize in this day and age, too, they have to be more cautious about where they, based on time frame where they're putting things because of the massive HD video boards that sit in so many arenas now. Like, rigging a lot of this stuff is much more difficult than it used to be, which I know is why they've built the new Elimination Chamber. But so that kind of determines when things happen too. So if they can know, okay, we're going to do Hell in a Cell in October, so we need to find a building in October that will fit this, this contraption. It makes it easier logistically for them. But I hate it. That was Survivor Series. I'm sorry, that was Takeover. I don't even know.
I was going to say, I walked away for a second, then came to unplug my phone, and then came back, and
that was
suddenly you're like, that's Survivor Series.
I did it. I did the whole thing while you were gone.
That was really fast.
You know what else is really fast?
What's that, JC?
Ordering things off Amazon.com. If you're a Prime member, they'll have it to you in 2 days, Tom.
And if you're a Prime member, that shipping's free.
It is, which is great this time of year. I've got so many gifts to buy.
Oh, it totally pays for itself this time of year.
I have so many cases of Uncrustables I have to gift you, Tom.
Well, that just totally ruins the surprise, but...
Well, I didn't say what was going to be in the case of Uncrustables. Maybe I'm just buying that so I can eat the Uncrustables and put your actual present in the box.
Well, I will also note that there are different flavors of Uncrustables. It doesn't have to be the grape flavor. There's the strawberry flavor, and if you really want to get a little bit different, there's a honey one. There's like a hazelnut spread.
Say there's the Nutella one, yeah.
Don't call it Nutella. It's hazelnut spread.
Pardon me. Sorry.
It's totally generic and totally not Nutella.
Yep.
Even though it's Nutella.
And you know what's great, Tom, when I'm going to go order all this stuff fast from Amazon.com?
Okay.
We can make money off of it.
We can?
Tom, we can pay ourselves back pennies at a time.
How can the people out there help us to make all of the pennies?
Yes. We will gladly take a roll of pennies out of our Amazon account when you go to cheatersneverpin.com and click the Amazon button on the front page. When you do it, looks like Amazon, shops like Amazon, use your Prime account, get your stuff in 2 days, get all your holiday shopping done. But without you even knowing it, it's going to kick a few cents back into the Section 328 and the Cheaters Never Pin coffers so we can pay for hosting and things like that.
Yeah, maybe we'll buy that second mic.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll get to CJC.
Maybe that's
and
what
do one of these things.
Maybe that's what will be in the Uncrustable box, Tom.
Maybe.
Tom, you realize we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary. That's gonna have to be a face-to-face show. That'll be not counting the Patreon exclusive one. That's the first time that will be the first time we've ever done this show face-to-face.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And there will be beers.
So many.
And that one will be available for everybody all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I'm excited about the concept of that. I'm just a little, I don't know, my heart's aflutter.
Ooh, I'm glad. But anyway, do all your holiday shopping on Amazon.com using the Amazon button on cheatersneverpin.com. And we greatly appreciate that.
Because remember, it's still Amazon. It's not some, Chinese knockoff or anything like that. You're still shopping through Amazon. You're still logged in the way that you normally would. Nothing is different.
Yep.
It's just that you're taking down demand by taking a few half pennies out of Jeff Bezos' pocket and redirecting it to the Cheaters Never Pin and Section 328 bank account, which I've never seen, but I'm sure there's money in it, maybe.
I'm told there's one. Anyway.
I mean, I'll take the accounting group's word for it.
Sure. Off the cheatersneverpin.com, click the Amazon button.
Yeah, please.
All right, Survivor Series. Tom, we've already been going for like 40 minutes.
You said it was going to be long.
Oh, boy. We can keep this one shorter.
Or
maybe.
It wasn't as exciting as...
No, it wasn't. But that's okay. That's okay. So three pre-show matches that didn't matter. Elias beat Matt Hardy. Enzo Amore retained the Cruiserweight Championship over Kalisto. And Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defeated Breezango. Cool.
Important to note that apparently Kalisto can't get over the ropes anymore.
That was at first when I saw it, I was like, he didn't botch it. Like, he meant to do that. He's trying out something new. And then the more I watched it, I was like, no, he got to that rope and realized he wasn't going to make it, so he just stalled himself.
I mean, it was
great.
Good cover.
It was.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
It's pre-show. No one's really paying attention anyway, so.
No.
If a botch happens on the pre-show, does it really count?
No.
That's what I thought. The opener. The Shield reunites for their first pay-per-view match back, where they defeat The New Day in 21 minutes and 20 seconds. Fun match.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot. A lot of near falls, a lot of creative spots.
The match built really well, too. Like, it definitely started out like very standard WWE kind of TV match. And I remember when it started, I was like, oh, God, here we go.
Yeah.
But it built, it told the story of these two teams being pretty evenly matched. But the Shield, with their pack mentality, just kind of overcame.
I enjoyed complete crowd confusion because no one knew who they wanted to support.
Yeah, that was fun.
Because the New Day had the crowd at first, but then they start popping for the Shield. But then then it's Roman, and then they kind of don't want to support Roman, but then Roman starts doing the triple team with the rest of the Shield, and then they support them again, and then the New Day does something, and then, the crowd goes in. It's fun to watch the crowd go back and forth and not know who to put over. Like, a lot of times the crowd is, just completely set on, these are the people I'm allowed to root for, these are the people I'm not allowed to root for. This match was just wide open, and you could just enjoy it, and it was.
You had two teams that everybody loves, and now 6 competitors everyone loves, because fast forward to Monday night when Reigns wins the Intercontinental Championship on Raw, to a huge ovation. Like, he had light boos on Sunday, not like he has been, and even the beginning of Monday when they came out from his TV, he got a little bit of boos, but when he won that belt, everybody loved it.
Yeah, I mean,
rehabbing him with the Shield, I think it's something that we've all kind of called for a while, and it's working.
Well, it's because, and do not underestimate the power of Vince McMahon and WWE in general making the fan base think that they made change.
Right.
Because this is what you've been doing. Everybody's pissed off that Roman's getting this push. He's saying stupid things. We don't like him. So what do? They immediately put him, well, not immediately. They put him back into the Shield. Well, this is something that we've been saying all this time. We want the Shield back. Now suddenly the person they've been programmed for the last 18 months to hate anytime he gets anywhere near the ring, suddenly he's over again. because it's cool to cheer for him again.
Yep. But and then a lot of people want to complain about them taking the belt off Miz. Well, Miz apparently, so after Raw goes off the air, he takes a Shield powerbomb through a table. I think even through the announce table. Miz is about to go film a movie, so this is a great way to write him off there. And then he's going to be on Marine 5.
The Marine
6. Yeah.
6 of them.
6. Jesus.
We're up there with like Saw movies and Friday the 13th.
So he's got to go film that, and then by the time that's done, I'm sure he'll be getting ready for paternity leave, and by the time that's done too, we'll be Rumble time Build to Mania, so not knowing when Maurice is going to have the baby, like they're obviously not going to factor him into plans there. So go ahead and get the belt off of him now, and you can start your whatever story you want to work towards for Mania with that strap. So I mean, it works and it makes sense.
Yeah, and
it got over. So,
and I think too, it's I don't know, maybe part of them are going, hey, well, I'm curious to how much we actually got Roman back over. Let's throw the belt on him.
And find
just
out.
Maybe for a week or something like that. But no, it's, they're like, yeah, he got over. But yeah, nobody else is really in a position right now, I think, to take the Intercontinental title. So
no. Jason Jordan, maybe. He's so over.
No.
Team Raw. Okay, so women's Intercontinental. No, women. Jesus, I can't read. Women's Interbrand. Why the fuck did they write Interbrand on Wikipedia? Dumbasses. Everything's Interbrand. 5-on-5 Survivor Series match for the women. There we go. Team Raw, which was Alicia Fox, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Asuka, and Nia Jax, defeated SmackDown's Becky Lynch, Naomi, Carmella, Natalya, and Tamina, with Asuka as the sole survivor. Duh.
There was no other way to book that.
No.
There
was one good
really
way to book it is to stop making Becky look like a total fucking nerd all the time.
Yeah.
Have her be the first one out there, and then have her be the first one to be literally murdered by the NXT women that came up tonight.
Yeah, and she sold it like a champ, too. She sold it like death.
Yeah.
Like, she sold it like Baby Doll getting hit in the Baby Maker by Jim Cornette's tennis racket. That's a reference way too old for you.
It was. That's why I chuckled awkwardly. This match was pretty meh, whatever. I don't have strong feelings one way or the other. I will say the Nia Jax, I've heard really negative things about this, but I enjoyed it. The Nia Jax Tamina showdown, kind of cool.
Yeah.
I put that top of my head, I was like, all right, I wouldn't mind seeing that as a mid women's card program at some point in time.
I have more issue with the fact that Tamina wrestles with a jacket.
Yeah. That's her thing,
I never really noticed it as much until she was wearing the t-shirt.
Oh, it's true. She's always in all black.
But wearing the t-shirt, I realized, okay, that's like a ring jacket that you're never taking off.
Yeah.
So.
I don't really have much to say about this match. 18 minutes, 35 seconds. It kind of happened. It was, whatever.
Yeah,
the match was designed to build Asuka, and it did. Period.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was still a little bit surprised in how they're booking Asuka at this level, and that she's selling a lot more than she did before. I guess maybe that's to make it seem a little bit more realistic, or at least to have her not completely butcher this level too, but I don't know.
Well, they had her kill Dana Brooke Monday night, which helps.
Well, she eventually did, but I mean, she still sold a decent amount for
barely.
Dana too.
Way less than she did against Emma on her debut.
Yeah.
Asuka's finally getting over with me on the main roster. I don't know why. The whole Asuka thing reads better on the main roster to me.
Yeah.
There's something about it. It just never worked for me as an NXT gimmick. I can't tell you why. But like, she's getting over with me now, finally. Baron Corbin defeats The Miz in a U.S. title versus IC title match. Here's another match that didn't fucking matter.
No, this was...
And it makes more sense now to why you have Corbin win when Miz is being written off for a while. There you go.
Yeah.
He was going to lose the belt the next night. That worked.
And plus, they needed SmackDown to take a win here and there. I mean, in order to get it, even 2-2 on each side.
Well, it was 3-0 before this. Or 2-0, I'm sorry. I can't count.
Yo, that's it. I mean, well, Shield New Day could have gone either way, technically. I mean, Shield was leaning that way, but, you could have technically gone either way. Raw was winning the women's match because Asuka wasn't going to lose.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I guess there's a little flexibility with the matches, but...
Well, and this gives cocky heel Baron Corbin the great talking point of, at least I won for SmackDown. For a couple weeks a month, whatever, they need to use it for. They used it tonight when, Owens and Zayn were trying to convince him to be on their side in this lumberjack match that's currently happening against the New Day right now. So,
also breaking, Mike Kanellis is still on the roster.
Both Colognes are here too.
I noticed that.
Whichever one was injured is back.
Yes.
I'm trying to see if there's anybody else out here that I haven't seen in a while. No, I think we're good.
Yeah, those were the three that stuck out to me.
Let's see here.
Since we're seeing the Ascension so much nowadays.
Yeah. In a perfect role for them right now.
Yeah.
Actually, please let them wrestle. SmackDown gets win number 2 when tag team champions the Usos defeat Raw tag team champions The Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus.
This was fun.
Yeah, I think this match met expectations. Like, we knew it would be a really solid match between these two teams. Yeah, let's see, went 15 minutes, 55 seconds. Yeah, the length was right. It just... Both of these teams are clicking right now, especially the Usos. Like, resonating with the crowd. Cesaro and Sheamus are always over because they're great. So that worked. And they're both all four of these guys are doing really great work right now, so we knew it would be a really good match, and it was. And
it's funny because, 2 years ago, we could have looked at all four of these guys and gone, ugh. And all four of them have repackaged themselves into something that's really entertaining.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Which just shows you how weird wrestling is.
I don't really have many comments on this match. Other than saying, it was fine. It was good. I enjoyed it.
I was excited to see Ty Dillinger in this.
In the Lumberjack? That's right. He exists.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Sin Cara.
And it looks like he's got a new shirt, too.
Well, that's good, since they're, pushing him so hard.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll let you know when this match finishes, what the outcome is.
Sorry. More live updates.
More live updates, yeah. People love it. Charlotte defeats Alexa Bliss, champion versus champion, in 15 even. This match was fine. It was a little underwhelming to me.
Yeah.
I don't have many comments about the match itself. It was fine.
Fine's good. I like, they showed one particular camera angle, I think, of when Charlotte hit natural selection, but they just talked about how great of an actual camera angle it was because they pull back, they're tight on Charlotte, who's on all fours, kind of like measuring. So she's got the focus in, and then as they pan back, you see Alexa, who's in pain and kind of, I guess she had just kicked out of a pin or something like that, and she's just got this look on her face, and then Charlotte comes in and delivers natural selection. It was just done so well.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times, when we were watching Survivor Series on Sunday, my wife was just talking about how frustrated she gets with the camera work and the constant shaking of the camera on every punch a lot of the times and things like that. And she's like, I'm getting nauseous watching this. So they are doing some good things, and that's kind of cool to see.
For sure. Then the match of the night, Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. Brock Lesnar won.
Yeah.
Clean.
Of course
Clean. 2. No interference in this match, which I think we all thought there would be some kind of shenanigans. There were not, and that was fine, because AJ put up one hell of a fight, maybe the biggest fight we've seen on Brock Lesnar ever.
Yeah.
So he looked strong as hell. Hits, I think it was, 3 phenomenal forearms in the build to the finish there at the end. Can't keep Lesnar down, but of course, we've got to keep the F5 strong to Mania. So one F5 does AJ in. But this match, it was so good.
Yeah, it was so much better than it had any right to be. And that's a hell of a testament to AJ, who is the best all-around wrestler in WWE.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
now.
Brock, this was a match that Brock wanted to participate in and wanted to have a good match in, because he sold his ass off for AJ.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it worked. I mean, because Brock got all of his offense in early and basically threw AJ around like a rag doll. And they even made reference to the Cena match where they're like, oh, here we go again, basically. And they did the great build into, okay, well, AJ's finding a way now. He started working the leg a little bit and then got the calf killer on there. I'm sorry, a calf crusher.
There you go.
There we go. Getting all
killer's
PG
not
again.
PG.
Yeah. But and it was just so well done. Yeah. It was as good as that match could have been.
This is an absolute must-watch match. Then we get a final live in-game update. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have defeated the New Day in their Lumberjack match after chaos broke out between all the Lumberjacks, so they left. Then Sami gets left behind by Kevin and gets beaten down. Kevin's now yelling at Daniel Bryan. I don't know what that means, because I'm not a lip reader. But there you go.
Oh, see, I'm still twerking right now, so I'm slightly behind. there's Kevin Owens.
There you are. Yeah. Anyway, should we do live 205 live updates?
Yeah, I'm pretty much ignoring that.
All right. Then main event of Survivor Series. Team Raw. Kurt Angle, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Triple H defeat Team SmackDown. Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, and John Cena. Quick observations off the top. Holy shit, John Cena's just a guy now.
Yeah.
Just got beat. Wasn't on SmackDown tonight. He was just here for the match, and then he deuced. Cool. It's weird. It's so weird.
It came off very much like John didn't necessarily want to wrestle. Somebody called in a favor, and he came in there and went, okay, I'll do my one job. And yeah, he came out there, did limited stuff, and ended up, taking a fall.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
okay.
that was weird. A lot of people have a lot more issue with this than I do, but I understand why they do. Shinsuke and Bobby Roode go out way fucking early. Back to back.
Yeah.
Which, I understand the argument is, how are you expecting to get these guys over if you just haven't geeked out like this? Okay, one, you've got what you could ostensibly say is the top 10 guys in the company here. And someone's got to go out. You're going to go with the guys that are not the highest on the card at this time. And a lot of people's argument would be, well, these guys should be all the top guys on the card. It doesn't work that way. Give them time. Someone had to get beat. That's who it was. But I understand the issue with it of, well, you can't make them look like nerds. They never look like nerds.
They're not I mean, they're not getting pinned by Shane McMahon or anything like that.
No. They both got time in the ring with Triple H and beat him up.
Yeah.
Which is a huge statement. So don't be as mad about that as you should be. And again, it's the Survivor Series 5-on-5 for brand supremacy that we will forget about in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and
Doesn't
they
matter.
both got taken out by Strowman. It's like, okay, well, you're not getting over Nakamura and Roode. Well, yeah, because it's Strowman.
And that makes sense.
It's not like Triple H took them both out.
No. Wrestling's supposed to be real. In a street fight, Strowman's going to murder them. He's a big, scary hoss.
And figure, I mean, of the 5 eliminations that you had of the SmackDown guys, 3 of them were from Strowman, and the 3 main ones. There's Nakamura, well, not the main ones, technically, because Cena got to be taken out again by Kurt Angle. Just coming for full circle from what? However many years ago that was.
Right.
Where Cena made his WWF debut against Angle. But I mean, yeah, if anything, because again, fingers have been pointed, it was the Triple H Shane McMahon show, like, no, this was still very much a build Braun Strowman match.
Right. That was who was to get over here. That's what Survivor Series does, is it takes young talent and builds them. That's the point of this. It's what it's always been about.
One of my observations, Kurt doesn't look good. I don't know what the hell happened to his leg.
Yeah, he was obviously battling some kind of leg injury. So I take it with a grain of salt. We still don't know what. It's not like he did much in the last match he had with Ambrose and Rollins. And then he was obviously injured here, so I still don't know what he is right now. So it's hard to, I don't want to comment on it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see when. I'm assuming his next match is WrestleMania,
unless he's in the Rumble.
And I guess it comes down to health. I mean, if he's healthy enough to be in the Rumble, then they'll put him there. I don't think they'll put him in a match.
And you've got to look, too, we're obviously building 2 matches for Hunter. The match against Kurt and the match against Braun Strowman. Well, which one are you doing where? So maybe it's Triple H versus Kurt at the Rumble. And then they're saving the Strowman match for Mania. Who knows?
I don't think they'd necessarily do Angle Strowman at Mania. I think Strowman's got to have something bigger than that. I mean, nothing personal against Angle or anything, but I think Angle at this point is still kind of a retro gimmicky type thing, and that I think he works fine putting him in the Rumble match instead of one-on-one, and then just have him do Triple H at Mania and be done with it.
That works.
And I'm good with that.
Match ends. After the Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn interference and beatdown of Shane, which was great.
Yes.
They're right in the storyline still. Match ends with Angle and Shane. Triple H lays out. Strowman, Angle, Triple H are left versus Shane.
Strowman was in the ring first.
Right.
And Triple H tags himself in.
Right.
Which, again, leads to the longest extended stare from Braun Strowman which lasts about 4.5 minutes.
The longest one is in the post-match.
I'm pretty sure it's still continuous.
Oh, okay. It's one stare.
He's still staring the entire time as Triple H goes into the ring and gets ready to face him, and then Angle tags himself in, to which, there's still staring going on.
Yeah. Hunter drops Angle, pulls Shane on top of him. Strowman still confused as fuck.
Which, to be fair, most of us are at this point.
Yeah. As Triple H then picks Shane up like he's going to help Shane, then puts him in the pedigree, gets the cover on Shane. Team Raw has won. Strowman's still confused.
Still staring.
As Triple H is now telling him, like, no, as you see, it was a plan. Like, we were working together. We won, buddy. We won. It's fine. Till Strowman gets to the ring, gets up in his face, grabs him by the throat, and shoves him into the turnbuckle, while Triple H has the simultaneous look of fear and panic and regret and pain. Maybe the best look like that ever given in professional wrestling. As Strowman yells, "Don't you ever," I don't remember the exact word, "don't you ever screw with me like that again." He drops Triple H, starts to leave. Triple H, in all of his infinite wisdom from almost 20 years in WWE, then decides to try to put Strowman in the pedigree. And so Strowman hits him with 2 running power slams.
Yeah, I like how he tried to bend him over, and Strowman's like, so no.
Yeah. And then if you didn't see the video too, after the show's going off the air, when Triple H is on his way out at the end of the match, I guess Steph had come down to check on him, and they're both at the top of the ramp, and Hunter's celebrating because he won the match, and I still, honestly, in kayfabe, does not know where the fuck he is after the 2 power slams. He's pretty close to the LED wall, so he turns to walk and just face plants into it and falls down. Brilliant. Hunter, always there to put smiles on faces.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Survivor Series.
It was an enjoyable show. I mean,
yeah, the whole weekend was enjoyable.
If you're going to weigh it against, War Games, then yeah, it's not going to look as strong. But I mean, it was one of the better WWE pay-per-view. Well, we still call them pay-per-views. They're not really.
Yeah. Well, this one you could pay per view on the WWE Network for $24.99.
Oh, surely I'd want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard to compare the 7-hour marathon of Survivor Series to the 2.5-hour War Games. Of course War Games is going to be more enjoyable. So, I guess, and then the other, kind of the only other biggest news that's happened this week, and we've kind of touched on it, it appears NXT women are invading the main roster.
Yeah.
So, on Raw, we had the traditional parade of people coming out to confront Alexa Bliss that leads to a fatal 4-way that does not finish. Spoiler alert. Because Paige then interrupts, comes out, announces she's back and she's not alone. And then Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose hit the ring and attack Bayley, Sasha, Mickey, and Alicia Fox. Until Alicia Fox goes running, screaming away, hilariously. Yeah, so you got that team there. And then on SmackDown Live Tuesday night, tonight, whatever, I already broke kayfabe, but they already know we were watching this live. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan all show up and lay out the women's roster on SmackDown, including Charlotte and Natalya in the middle of a women's championship match. What the fuck?
I don't know.
Okay, so this is my thought process here on what they're doing.
Okay.
So, the rumor, WWE's never confirmed this, but I've seen multiple sources report it, that Ronda and Jessamine and Marina have been down at the Performance Center training with Shayna Baszler. Obviously, getting ready for a match at Mania against the 4 Horsewomen. So that's going to make them, your 4 top women, basically, Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky, unavailable for WrestleMania because they're going to be tied into this match against the 4 horsewomen of MMA, which is a story they started building during the Mae Young Classic. So we're basically going to have to introduce some other women to kind of fill the gaps, and women that can work a little bit better. And I don't know that they made the right choices there, which we can get into. But then you've got a different storyline for the women that are left behind out of that. That's my thought process there.
Right. I mean, I kind of get that, but at the same time, it's like...
They could have worked with what they already had, but both... I can't even remember who on Twitter last night, and I apologize. I was having a discussion with them about... the Raw women's roster did definitely need a boost because basically it's either Becky or Sasha contending at any given time.
Right.
So you need to freshen up. Now, to me, the SmackDown roster is the same. At least there's the Money in the Bank briefcase floating out there that can freshen things up at any given moment. But there's only 6 women. And all the matchups are kind of, they're all played out at this point.
And it's difficult to have any kind of storyline going when you only have a handful of workers split amongst, the 2 divisions, basically. I mean, it'd be one thing to kind of have, a group of 12 women or whatever as your women's division and each of them have their feuds or whatever. But when you've basically split it up, 6 and 6 pretty much, it turns into there's a champion and then there's a 5-way match each week.
Yep. And then my other issue with this whole thing is you look at the women that were called up to Raw. The SmackDown women, Sarah and Liv and Ruby, I don't have any worries about in the ring. They're all very talented. Mandy's still pretty green time-wise. She's gotten a lot better. If you look at any NXT house show report, she's only been on NXT TV twice. But if you look back at house show reports, she's improved dramatically. But from what I've seen of Sonya, she's not ready. And my one, glaringly obvious thing of this already is you're having this huge beatdown on your first appearance on the main roster, and 6 times the only thing you yell, it was, "That's right, baby," over and over and say something new. You got it. That's not encouraging on your debut.
Oh,
and she is also not a great worker. And then my other concern with her is if you're going to have Shayna Baszler up at some point, because she is contracted talent, why do you have 2 women with the MMA gimmick?
That was what threw me off too. Is when I first initially saw her, because I'm not that familiar with them, and I saw her and I was just like, oh, okay, well, it's the MMA girl, and then I'm going, wait, no, this isn't the right one. This isn't the one from the Mae Young Classic.
And the thing is here too, Daria had amateur MMA fights, but she's not
legit. Say legit. It's okay.
Is as legit as Shayna Baszler would. Not, you look at Jessamine and Marina, who are supposedly training too. The other 2 4 horsewomen, they're not on the level that Shayna is, who's definitely not on the level that Ronda is. But why do we need this much of this right now? I don't get it. But I'm interested to see where it goes. It was definitely unexpected. It's great to have Paige back. She looked incredibly healthy and wonderful. She looked like she belonged again, which was fantastic. So I'm really happy for her. Then I was just shocked that all these other women have shown up in the last 48 hours.
I think I'm just a little bummed for, to see all these girls show up, and then you have, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay still at NXT.
Well, you gotta look, and you think about all the times we called, when Nakamura was there for so long, and Finn and Joe, and everybody's like, why are they not coming up? NXT is the 3rd brand now. They have to sell tickets and shows and all over the world. they've got to have strong talent there too that can carry the brand. I don't know that any of these 5 women can carry a brand, so they're a great piece to put on the main roster now, but like Peyton and Billy can carry that brand. Kairi Sane can.
Like, I get it. I just think of salary differential where, you've got NXT people that are basically making a fraction of what main roster people are making. And I don't know how contracts change when you go from one to the other. I mean, I know some of them do, but like how dramatic necessarily it is. But
we got to look even within the ranks of NXT itself. Like, there was no way Finn was making the same that the fucking dubstep boys were.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's already that discrepancy within the Performance Center itself. So.
But I mean, is it a thing too of like, say, I mean, could that be a reason why, say, Mandy Rose gets called up? Because Mandy got, like, coming off of, Tough Enough or whatever. I mean, she got, like, a decent contract out of that.
She didn't win.
I know, but I mean, like, still, I thought she signed, like, a 5-year deal or some kind of ridiculous thing like that.
I'm not sure if we knew any terms of her contract. Same with Daria. Or Sonya, I'm sorry.
I don't know, but like, I mean, Mandy's got the obvious look.
That's why she was always, when they signed her, she was destined to be fast tracked up for that one reason. And because she is incredibly athletic. Like, I will give her that. And like I said, from everything I've read, like, her work has tremendously improved.
Now, from what, I mean, I just, again, haven't been too many, and by too many, I mean any NXT house shows, but Mandy seems to have teamed with Sonya a decent amount on those house shows, so maybe part of it's that as well.
It could be.
Like, they wanted Mandy, let's say, but we need a third. Why not pair Mandy with the person that she's teamed with a decent amount? Maybe they can, maybe they'll be in a decent amount of tag matches, so maybe the two of them can kind of work together where they feel comfortable now, and then,
right.
I don't know.
Well, and the other thing, and I brought this up to you today over text, like, and it sounds awful when you say it out loud, but the way WWE works with their, like, entrepreneurship is the new marketing thing.
Right.
That Stephanie has tweeted idiotically in the past. You look at the fact that their ambassador to GLAAD, Darren Young, was just released. The only other openly gay person that's on the roster at any level, that we know of at least, is Sonya. So, okay, well, we need, we want to say we have a diverse roster and we want to, have that presence out there. Well, you bring her up. Purely from that entrepreneurship is the new marketing standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, and you had mentioned it's like, you're like, is it a crappy thing to say that, like, yeah, but at the same time, it's not crappy for you to say because it's a legit, concern.
Yeah.
You have to think of it at that way. I mean, all these people, every wrestler that's on the roster, there's concerns about their marketability and, other aspects of their personality and how they'd be able to do in interviews, how they'd be able to be seen in public. Can they, are they not going to make a fool of themselves on social media? There are so many considerations that WWE has to take when they bring a wrestler into its universe, basically.
When you've got a company that takes a guy from Toronto who's just of Indian descent, and then you're like, oh, we got to announce we have shows in India, we need to see somebody there? Cool, send him and put the title on him. Like, that's what you're dealing with. And like I said, it's a crappy thought to have, but I feel like that's a discussion that was probably had.
This isn't the territories anymore. This is all business.
Yeah. So,
and that's a business consideration.
And, she came out on Tough Enough. Like, they own the footage where she, came out on their product. you don't think they look at that and go, ooh, we can use this.
Yeah.
This makes for great Be a Star rally footage.
And not the fact that they have to turn around and put that in advertising or anything like that, or make that her gimmick or anything.
No.
But they've got it in their back pocket.
Yep. Hold on. Breaking 205 Live news.
All right.
They're running a Hideo Itami video package.
So I guess that's happening.
So it looks like Hideo will be coming up to 205 Live. Oh boy. I'm waiting to see the end of the package to see if that's what they're announcing. Hideo Itami. There it is. Coming soon. Yep. So you heard it here first. 24 hours after it happened. Man, that's a gross misuse of him.
It's I don't know. It's something to do with him at this point. Otherwise, he's just going to stay in NXT, and it's pretty much to finish out the contract.
He's probably going to get injured in 2 months anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Should we move on to pin mail?
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Pin mail. Pin mail. Pin mail.
First question in from our buddy Noah Zark on Twitter. Something we kind of touched on during Survivor Series. What are your top entrances in WWE? Currently, I'd go with Balor, Nakamura, and Rude, with Asuka as a close fourth. I listened to my top four. While you think, I'll do mine. So I went with Balor first. Because, yeah. Bray Wyatt ranks on this list for me. Fireflies in the land. It works really well. And then I had Nakamura and Rude.
I mean, yeah. I'll put all those into the mix there. I think. I
missed one.
I'll go.
Randy Orton coming out while he's following his sperm down the video ramp should rank.
I'll go Nakamura 1, Balor 2, just because I'm a Nakamura mark. And then we'll have Rude 3, and I guess it's kind of worn off me a little bit for Wyatt, but I think my 4 right now, and again, 'cause it's my own markdom. I love Sami Zayn's entrance. Like, I love his theme, and it's almost more a little bit weirder now that he's like the cocky ass heel.
Yeah.
Kind of still doing the same thing, but I get pumped.
From the OGL Patron himself at Tweets from Seth. With the return and debuts on Raw, which we're going to go ahead and add 3 more to this, and SmackDown, WWE has 21 women's wrestlers on the top 2 brands, 11 NXT. Rank the following in likeliest to happen and in which order they might happen. Women's Rumble, Women's Branded Show, Women's Tag Titles.
I'd love to see women's tag titles, but I don't know if you can necessarily do them at this point with split brands. I think you would have them if you just had one women's title, because if you're having women's tag titles, you theoretically have to have 2 pairs of women's tag titles.
Oh,
and
God.
No.
Too many belts already.
I think that in likelihood, if we're doing likelihood, I still think that would probably be the number 1, even though I don't see it happening. I will do Rumble as number 2, just because it wouldn't be at the Royal Rumble, it'd be at some other event for some reason. The least likely would be the women's show in general, because I don't know, mean, 205 itself is hard to market. I don't think they're going to get any ratings for a women's show at this point.
So I think Women's Rumble is the most likely. We've already had Women's Money in the Bank, so they're not opposed to this. I would say the women's tag titles is the second likeliest, and the branded show is the least likely. Because that show cannot happen for marketability reasons. Because they have to keep the women on the big shows. Just to get that demo on cable.
Yeah, and I don't know how well the ratings did for the Mae Young Classic in comparison to, say, like the Cruiserweight Classic.
It was not good.
Yeah. And then look at 205 right now and the ratings that 205 is doing. So,
right.
Do your cross multiplication and that type of thing where, the comparison of just ratings in general, and yeah, you can tell it's not going to happen at all, ever.
And then let me make sure. Yep, fine. No, there's two more. Okay. From our good buddy Derek. Worst Survivor Series gear: the Raw Shield Frankenshirt or John Grena?
I do hate Frankenshirts. I hated the shirts to begin with. Just the general Raw / SmackDown
But
shirts.
How do you know what show they're on, Tom?
I don't know. I would cheer every time somebody got their shirt ripped off.
Rare. I think John Grena was worse because if everyone else is going to be dressed and branded, he just sticks out like a sore thumb.
But horizontal towel.
That is true. That is groundbreaking. That'll be a top seller on WWEshop.com this holiday, and probably on Amazon.com. Then you can buy it through the Cheaters Never Pin link.
Yeah, do that.
Yep. Finally, now that it's clear we're calling women, now that it's clear we're calling up women from NXT, how large an object should I throw through the window if we don't start an iconic duo tea-drinking horsewomen feud on SmackDown tonight? Okay, hopefully you haven't already broken anything.
Who sent us this question?
This was Ben Moser at Benjamin Moser. Sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We want to acknowledge our
I'm
fine
sorry.
fan base that sends us
yes
pin mail.
So I covered why it shouldn't happen already. And also, my thing is, they're not the tea-drinking horsewomen. They're Tea Generation X.
Yeah, tea-drinking horsewomen just sounds like a horrible insult.
I just picture Arn and Ole in drag sipping tea.
I just picture Arn and Ole and, for some reason, William Regal.
Oh, no, Arn and Luger. There you go.
There
we go. That's funnier for some reason.
And Paul Roma.
And J.J. Dillon serving the tea. This works.
In War Games. With a roof.
Tea time beyond! That's funnier to me than it was when I said it out loud.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that wraps up the Survivor Series War Games NXT Women's Invasion Mega Show.
Yeah, if you've made it all the way through, thank you. Congratulations.
Yes. So I guess, like we said, no match exchange, probably for the rest of the year, because, it's the holidays, and ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Yeah.
We'll get back to it in 2018, when we hit our 1-year anniversary, Tom.
Yeah.
It's coming.
God.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So tell the people where they can find you on the internet, Tom.
Go on the Twitter machine. Go to @MrWorkrate, @MRWorkrate. You can go to, don't go to AOL IMR because they don't do that stuff anymore, but I've got my away message set anyway, so.
And if you need his Yahoo Messenger, he gave it out last time.
Yeah.
You can find me on the internet at JCBobbitt, JCBOBBITT, preferably on Twitter. You can find the show on Twitter at CheatersNeverPin, CheatersInVRPin. We're also on Facebook. And then the show's on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, everywhere. Review us, rate us, tell 3 friends. Until you start telling more friends, I'm adding 1 every time. I don't know if you've noticed that. It was 2 last week. Now it's a 3. Get us over. Our whole goal is to be more over than Jason Jordan. And I think we're right on the precipice of that.
Yeah, we're damn close.
All right, well, we'll be back next week to talk about wrestling.
It's usually wrestling.
Yeah. Generally. Maybe it'll do an all-uncrustable episode.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Right? So anyway, thanks for joining here yet again for another week of Cheaters Never Pin. I'm JC.
I'm Tom.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.